welcome back. I am Loretta Holmberg of Teach and Reach YouTube channel. So on this channel, I share with you online tips, tricks, and strategies in order to educate, empower, and elevate ourselves to be better online educators. And so I am with VIPKid as well as OutSchool. Today I'll be talking about how to increase your VIPKid bookings. So I'm really thankful. This is the month of November, right? 2020. I'm really thankful that I've had really good, solid bookings after the first month that I signed up. So I signed up last year in September. In the month of September, I think I only had, let me see, 8 classes. I only had 8 classes. But then I had more classes in October, and then by November I hit the comma club. Comma club meaning that you hit $1,000 or more, right? Comma, the comma in the 1,000,000, and I've hit the comma club ever since, and I think the most I've taught my income might have been like close. It's still 2,000 something, but close to 3,000. Remember, I have a full-time job, so I'm not able to do this full-time, but I've not had any issues with getting bookings. Usually every slot that I open gets booked either short notice or gets booked by a regular, and I have a lot of regulars. I have a lot of VIPKid regulars. So number 1, what should you do to increase your VIPKid booking? All right, so this is, I feel like this is the most important one. All right, teach a phenomenal class. You will leave your students wanting more from you. They will want to keep coming back to you, and they will tell others about you, and that will result in more bookings. What does phenomenal look like? So be prepared for each class. Connect with your students. Teach the content like a pro. Teach the content according to your students' needs while recognizing their strengths. Praise your student and exude energy and confidence. So think about how you are making each class phenomenal. All right, if you're a phenomenal teacher during that 25-minute session, they're going to come back because they want more from you, and they're going to tell other people about you. So some examples were I taught this girl in Tianjin, and she's got a cousin in Shanghai, and now her cousin in Shanghai is taking my classes as well. And then that particular cousin's younger brother, who's in level 2, is about to start taking my classes as well. You know, is starting to book with me as well. So it spreads. If you're good, they will speak about you to their friends and relatives, and you're going to get more and more bookings. So ask yourself, how are you making your classes phenomenal? All right. So in other words, how is your class a kick-ass class, right? Tip number 2 for increasing your bookings is to ensure that you give good, clear, and succinct feedback. All right. Make sure you give good, clear, and succinct feedback. Plus, that you get parent feedback as well. All right, I always thank the parents for the opportunity to work with their kid. For my regulars, I usually thank them for the continued opportunity to work with their child. Then I praise my student for the skills that they did really, really well. And then next, I focus on what the particular student needs still to work or review on, and I offer a solution, just a simple one. For example, for a level 1 student who does not have letter recognition but can sing the ABC song, I might suggest that the parent provide an ABC chart so that when the student is singing the ABC song, he or she can actually point to the different letters, all right? Or that the parent helps student create an ABC book where the student writes the uppercase A and lowercase a on one page, and then the student looks for pictures and words that begins with the letter A to paste on that particular page. All right. So for example, for A, they could look for an apple, a picture of an apple, an ant, and then paste on it. And then I end by saying 5 stars for Bao Bao today. Yay! Kindly please leave feedback for teacher if you can. And then I thank them. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with Bao Bao again soon. And then I sign off my name, Teacher Loretta H. And I do not ask for 5 apples. I just ask for feedback. It would be presumptuous to think that that class, that the parent would think that the class is a 5 apple class. But I do ask for feedback. All right. When I do receive parent feedback, I always reply to each and every single feedback by thanking them, as well as letting them know why the parent feedback helps me. This is obviously more important, when we were trying to get a raise, right? We had the percentage feedback that we needed to get, but it's still important now because the more positive parent feedback you have, I think it helps with the algorithm of like how the parents and the students get to see your profile. So I'm always asking for feedback. I just don't ask for 5 apple feedback. I'm assuming that it's a 5 apple class, but I just say, I really value your feedback. And I hope to get it, just in very simple form. All right. So feedback, both you giving your student feedback, all right, or the parents are going to read it, right, and getting feedback from the parents are very important. That's like number 2, my tip, number 2 tip. So thank you for still sticking around. If you're enjoying the content, and if you have not subscribed to me, please make sure you subscribe. Hit on that bell so that you get notifications of when I have new videos, and make sure you like this video and comment on things that you do to increase your bookings, or what might you try from what I'm going to be suggesting, what I've suggested and what I'm going to be suggesting next. All right, tip number 3, my tip number 3. I started doing this even before I went to Journey DC last year, and then it got validated in Journey DC last year when one of the Chinese lead teachers, Benjamin Wong, right, mentioned this and how it can be helpful. Write a note to the learning partner in your feedback. Okay, even if you do not have an issue with the student, write a short note thanking the learning partner for recommending you to the parents. Let the learning partner know students' progress in 1 to 2 sentences only. Don't be wordy. I usually just start like, dear LP, I hope that you are staying safe and well. And then I go on and just give like 1 to 2 sentences about the student that I've worked with that day. And then I let them know. I would really appreciate it if you could recommend me more to level 3 students, level 4 students, level 5, whatever level that you are interested in. So recently I asked for more level 6 students, and I got one new one. Plus I also got several level 5 students who are almost at the tail end of their unit. So they're already in like unit 12 and they're going into level 6. So it helps. I think it helps. I think they read, and I think it helps. And yeah, let them know how you would appreciate getting more students at this level, or who have similar learning styles that might work well with you, right? I started doing this back in September 2019 when I first started. I didn't even have a mentor then, and didn't realize there were so many Facebook groups then either. I wasn't part of many Facebook groups, and then I found out about this right in Journey DC, and it really helped solidify and validated what I was already doing. And I still continue to do it to this day, even though I have a really nice even though I have a really nice regular booking from week to week. Everything that I've opened gets booked up pretty quickly during Frenzy. There might be like maybe 1 or 2 openings, but then they get booked up during the week. All right, I'm going to read to you what Benjamin Wong, who's the head of the lead teachers, the LPs, said in his workshop session last year. That LPs do read the notes teachers send them. The more concise and to the point it is about the student, the easier it will be for these LPs when they connect with the students' parents when they do their phone calls. Yes, our LPs connect with the parents of our students, so we should connect with our LPs. Write those notes. Don't just copy what you wrote in the feedback to the parents in the LP section. They can read that. They can see that. I want you to think about, how can I give them super short 1 to 2 sentence about this particular student that is going to be helpful for them when they talk to the students' parents, right, in a week or 2, or however their schedule is. All right, share with them something useful about the student that they can use as data right? When they are talking to the parents. I truly believe that it's because of this habit and routine that I have received the levels and types of students that I enjoy working with in the last several months. Well, right now it's like in the last year or so. If nothing else, I let the LPs know that I'm thankful for them. Gratitude goes a long way. So ask yourself, are you writing to the LPs? And if you're writing, ask yourself, if it has not been working, ask yourself, is it too much detail that you're giving? Is it relevant information that the LP can use when they're making those phone calls to the parents? Ask yourself the tone of the messages that you are providing. How does it sound like? Is it something that sounds really nice and LP is going to feel really good reading it? All right, so think about writing to the LPs. All right, tip number 4 is to teach overnight classes on weekends. I know it doesn't sound good, but if you're just starting out or you're having trouble getting bookings, you might want to consider that. So when I first started, September, I didn't know about doing that. October, not really either, because actually October, what I did was I did sub classes. I was a substitute teacher and that worked out really well, but they don't really have substitute classes anymore. Like, they do have it. It's called booked info pending. But I don't do that anymore. I didn't even opt out. I just don't do that because I don't have any availability in my schedule because it gets booked, right? But anyhow, going back to teach overnight classes on weekends. And if you want to prepare yourself to doing that and you want to make sure that you are not too sleepy, make sure you check out my video. I did a whole video on how to survive an overnighter successfully. Okay, so one way that I increased my VIPKID bookings was when I started teaching overnight classes on weekends, and I started doing this in November after I learned more about it at Journey DC. So those overnight hours can look different for different folks. It's also not for everyone. I do prepare myself fully before teaching an overnighter because it can be mighty taxing on the body. So again, go check out my video on how to prepare yourself for teaching an overnight class. All right, I've gotten several regulars from actually teaching overnight from Fridays into Saturdays and then Saturdays into Sundays. So they started taking classes with me on those overnight hours, and then they moved to like a regular time slot because I stopped teaching overnight hours and they wanted to stick with me, and so they moved to my regular time slot during the week or the weekend hours, which are like regular sane hours, what I would call, like 6 o'clock in the morning. So I once taught 10 straight hours with no break. I decided that I will never do that again. I did used to schedule like 5 hours of straight teaching with either a 30-minute break or an hour break when I first started, right? Slots that don't get booked, I usually just short notice them, but most times nowadays I just tell myself that I just need to take a break. So overnight hours has helped me a lot because it has opened up this new door of a door to getting these students who maybe they had a free time that particular Sunday or Saturday or and they want to take a class, and so they look for teachers and somebody new, but then they usually also regularly might have taken classes during the weekdays or at a regular time. And so if you continue to teach kick-ass classes, right, phenomenal classes, and they happen to book you during your overnight hours, they might stick with you. So that's how I've gotten several of my students. They followed me even though when I stopped I don't do overnight hours anymore. I might teach 2 hours on Friday evenings, but I don't do overnights. I don't do overnights Friday into Saturday and Saturday into Sunday anymore. It was very taxing on my body. So if you watch this YouTube video, I actually explained to you why I quit doing overnight hours. It was just too much for my body, and I have an autoimmune disease, so it just wasn't good. It was both my doctor and my acupuncturist says no more overnight hours. Tip number 5 is to just get all the certifications that you can, right? So when I first started, I had level 2 certification, I had level 1 certification, I had level 3 certification, and then I added as many of the supplementary courses that were available to me and the upper level certifications. I started getting a lot more bookings once I had those subclasses and all the different levels. I do teach subclasses, but I teach a lot of the vocabulary supplementary classes. They're actually my regular students who are taking MC classes, who are sometimes just switching their bookings from MC to vocabulary. And then I do have level. Well, I have level 1, but not as much anymore, because I did write to the LP saying that I don't like the new level 1 interactive level 1 series, and so if possible to not give me any of those classes. Sometimes I do get 1 or 2, and that's fine, I'll do it, but I don't like them. I just don't like them. That's another story altogether, and I'll probably create a video for that. But yeah, so I teach level 2 all the way to I'm certified all the way to level 8, but I've not taught any level 8 classes, but I do teach several level 7 classes. All right, so I tend to get booked for supplementary courses for weekend slots, and definitely during the kids' winter break. For now, I do get booked like vocabulary classes from kids that are my regulars. They're just switching their MC classes to vocabulary classes. All right, I do get them sporadically during the week, but a lot of my classes that I'm teaching currently are all MC classes, right? I remember the first night I was eligible for certification for phonics and 2 other certs. This is like last year, right? I took the quizzes, passed them, and booked 3 of my short notice slots, like immediately, like within like 2 or 3 hours that particular morning itself. It was a weekend. My favorite supplementary course to teach, and I don't get that often anymore, is actually the TOEFL primary. I know a lot of people don't like that. It's like test taking stuff, but I'm really good at it and I really like it. And there is a certain set structure to it. I love it. Actually, I also don't mind the new vocabulary course that my students are being funneled to for some reason. It actually kind of complements the major courses, the MC courses, which is kind of nice. But yeah, my favorite is the TOEFL primary and the vocabulary courses as well, the new ones. All right, like what I was saying, the TOEFL primary, it's exam prep. I love the structure and the content of it. I also get booked for it quite a bit. Like several months ago. Okay, not so anymore. Nowadays it's just MC and vocabulary classes. And I have every supplementary certification that's there, including the public speaking one and all that. I also have the REP certification from my VIP Teach program. So the more certs you have, the likelihood of getting booked obviously increases, right? Several of my regular students actually started out with me in my subclasses, my supplementary classes, and then they cross over to be my students in my major courses. So it works. Get as many certifications for subclasses as possible, and also the different levels, especially if you're comfortable teaching the different levels. All right, tip number 6, okay, to increase your bookings is revamp your profile, bio, and intro video. What does your profile pic, secondary pics, bio, and video say about you as a VIPKid teacher, right? So in mine, I wanted to convey a professional yet fun teacher. So I have a professional looking picture taken by my fiance actually on his iPhone 11 as my main pic. But my secondary pic are ones of me in the VIPKid classroom, so this classroom. And I'm not kidding you, my classroom has pretty much looked the same since September 2019. Sometimes I'll hang like some decorations for, like I'll probably be hanging something for Christmas, like maybe, but not Christmassy stuff, but more like maybe like snowman. Okay, that's what I did. And then I'll hang something for Chinese New Year. I didn't do anything for Halloween. I did wear I did wear something on my head, a headband for Halloween. But the photographs that I share on my profile tells them what the classroom is going to be like. I picked pictures that kind of shows my personality, right? And then and also, okay, so and I also have a picture on there of my dogs. I often get requests I often get requests by my kids, by my students, right, to see my doggies, okay? And I have several dogs. I don't always say yes to those requests because the 25 minutes of lesson is very, very important. So they get full 25 minutes or, sometimes 27 minutes or 28 minutes. Only after that time, and if I don't have a class afterwards, right? So if it's like an for now, it's like if it's an 8 a.m. stop and my kid wants to, say hi to my dog, then he gets to see it. My bio is written such that I let the parent know that I have taught many ESL students before. And I have in the brick and mortar classroom. I was the teacher with a lot of the ESL kids from like different parts of the world. Okay. And I also convey that I'm a professional and that I'm a mom who has a kid in college now. And my teaching qualities that will be great. And I also tell them like all the different teaching qualities that will be great for their children. I make simple edits and revisions to mine every 3 to 4 weeks. I've not done that actually recently, but I've been known to do that like every month or so. Okay. I think it helps with the algorithm of the way of our profiles show up on the parents page. I can't confirm this obviously, but this is just my gut that I've had for a while. I mean, it's worked for me. I remain to be fully booked for the slots that I open. So I normally teach about anywhere between 26 to 30 classes now that with the time change, right? So about 30 classes a week. So that comes up to about like 120 classes a month, right? So that is something that you can do. Look into your profile, bio and pictures and see whether you can do anything about it. And the video needs to really bring out your personality. All right, tip number 7 is to send those e-cards. So I faithfully send e-cards to my students as well, especially to my new students, as well as to my regular recurring students. I send them e-cards every now and then, and especially on Fridays and Saturdays, because they do the bookings, and sometimes on Sundays as well, because they do the bookings. The booking frenzy is Monday noon Beijing time, right? Which is here in the US Eastern Standard Time is on Sunday 11 p.m. right now. So I will send those cards like about a day or two before to just kind of like as a reminder that, hey, I'm here, teacher Loretta is right here. And I never get any complaints about it. Send those e-cards weekly to help increase or maintain your bookings. All right, I send e-cards to all my new students as well as my regulars. I know that we cannot personalize our e-cards right now, but the e-cards are still valuable. It tells them that you are thinking about them. I send those e-cards, like I said, on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays on my time. It is my hope that parents and students will get and read the cards in time before the booking frenzy. The kids who automatically book with me through the automated system also get e-cards from me. It's always a nice and warm feeling when you know someone is thinking of you. And better yet, when they think you are doing a great job in English class, right? I mean, like, wouldn't you want somebody to send you a card saying that what a good job you're doing? I would, yeah. And don't forget to send birthday cards to your interested, recurring, and potentially recurring students too. All of them matter. They are your clients. I cannot build this online business without my clients, especially returning clients who will then spread word of mouth or via social media in China about me, or the kind of success that they're having in my class, right? So think about sending e-cards. It may not be personalized anymore, but it does make a difference. At least for me, it does. So why don't you try it? What's there to lose? It's free. All right. So tip number 8 on how to increase your bookings is to ensure that you maintain a consistent schedule from week to week and day to day. So parents and students like it if they can take classes from you at the same time each day, every week with you, right? With your favorite teacher. Okay. So a weekly routine helps everyone involved. So for me with VIPKid, I would open 6 p.m. Beijing time to 9 p.m. Beijing time. All right. Now with the time change, my 6-8, I'm not willing to wake up at 4:45 a.m. to teach a 5 o'clock class, which would then be a 6 p.m. Beijing time. So I now only teach 7 p.m. Beijing time to 9 p.m. Beijing time. So it's only for 2 hours during this standard time, right? So we just switched to standard time last weekend, right? So from November to March, that's going to be my schedule. And then come March, it's going to be back to I'll be available from 6 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time to 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time in the morning on weekdays as well as weekends. So they know my schedule. Now, obviously, recently I had to switch my, well, I lost, I didn't lose the students. Two of my students are affected by the time change. So I tell them way in advance though that I tell them like about 3 weeks in advance in every single feedback that I give them, as well as I tell the LP about it, so that they know that, oh, she's not going to be available at that time anymore, like the 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Beijing time anymore, because it's 5 a.m. over here, 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. and I'm not going to wake up that early because it messes up my whole day. So I tell them beforehand, and then they start looking for other spots in my schedule that they might be able to fit in, right? I usually have like 1 or 2 spots open that's not filled by a regular student, or it might be filled but not necessarily by a regular student. It might just be like a new student. So they find those spots and then they insert themselves there and they book. And then when I go back into springtime, right, when it's daylight saving time again, they can go back to their regular schedule. But I make it a point to tell them. I make it a point to tell them way in advance what my schedule is going to be like. But I maintain a very, very consistent schedule. So I open up my schedule as far as I can. So usually it's like a couple of weeks in advance. And I make sure I block off those times that I don't want to work. So like this year, I do not want to work on Thanksgiving Day. I just want a break. So I'm already telling my students that I'm not going to be working during that time. I know it's like we're only in the beginning of November. All right, tip number 9 is very important. It might be number 9, but it's one of the very most important tip to increase and maintain your VIPKid bookings is to build and maintain good relationships with your students and their parents. So it's not only about teaching well, but it's also about maintaining those good relationships, right? How do your students and their parents feel during the class as well as after class? You wanna make an impact. You wanna make them feel good about it, right? So if they feel good about it, they're going to keep booking you. So make sure that you end each class on a positive note. Make sure that during the class that you are actually doing all that you can to be that phenomenal teacher, as well as making the kid and their parents, if they're right there, feel good, right? If parents leave you 5 apple feedback, be sure to communicate your gratitude and thank them and let them know how much that feedback means to you, and share something nice and specific about their child, so that the child is not just another number in your bookings, but it's actually somebody that means a lot to you, because, well, they're your clients, right? And so be genuinely interested in your students' life. I always try to, especially with my level 3 and up kids, we're able to converse a little bit. I always try to make it a point to ask them a little bit about their day, and I might help with them with, like, words and vocabulary that they could use when they're doing their communication. With my level 1, level 2, I always have pictures, and then they can kind of tell me, like, what is it that they did that day. And so if you want to download the freebie picture that I have, go ahead and click on the link right underneath this video. Under the description box, there is a link to a picture that I've created where you can actually show your students what did you do today, and then they can point out, all right, number 1, number 2, number 3, which one. Okay, be genuinely interested in your students' life. Use the first 1 to 2 minutes of class to build rapport, and use the last 30 seconds to a minute of the class to do the same. So usually by about 24 minutes and 30 seconds, I'm about ready to wrap up, and I'm trying to make that child feel good. If the parent is there, right, I'm always saying how good the child has done, this, that, and kind of let's just review certain things that we've done, okay? As Maya Angelou said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. All right. So make your students and their parents feel like $1 billion always. Maintaining good interpersonal relationships goes a long way, because these parents and these students, they have friends and they have relatives, and they can recommend you to them. So make it a point to maintain those good relationships with each and every single student and parents that is a part of your life through the bookings and through the classes. All right, tip number 10 is kind of like an iteration of what I did when I did feedback. All right, to increase your bookings is really to continue the interaction and communication with your students' parents. So yep, reply to each and every feedback that they leave you. All right, personalize the reply so that again your student is not just another number. You want your students' parents to actually feel good when they read your reply. So I always let them know how thankful I am for their feedback and how it helps me, and I will also mention something good about their child or how I'm looking forward to another class with their child. Plant that seed in their head. They need to go book. So those are the 10 tips that I offer you and challenge you to do if you don't already do them, all right, to help increase your bookings, especially if you have a booking drought, right? You can also download the same 10 list, all right? Just click on the link that says how to increase bookings. You can download the document and you'll get it to be able to refer to. I hope that you have found the tips helpful and this content helpful. So if you do, or if you did, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, click on that bell so that you will be informed of new videos when I publish them. And make sure you like this video and comment on it. Let me know what you're going to try or what you've already tried, whether it's successful, not successful. What else are you going to try? So let's be positive and let's be thankful for all that we have. All right, this is November 2020. So obviously this whole thankful thing, I am very thankful for my bookings, and I think like all the different things that I've talked about, all the different tips that I've shared really has helped me with my bookings in this past year, because I've only been with VIP Kids since September of 2019, but ever since November 2019 I've hit the Comma Club every single month. And I'm doing this as a part-time job. I have a full-time job at the university. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So try those things that I have shared. Number one thing, make sure you have kick-ass, phenomenal class, and they'll keep coming back. All right. And make sure that interpersonal relationship with the kid as well as to the parents, as well as with the LPs, make a big difference. Thank you for sticking around, and stay safe, keep smiling, keep shining. The best is yet to come. I'll meet you in my next video soon. Bye.